Hey guys, welcome back here to today's episode of Advanced Bass Fishing, and appreciate you guys swinging by the channel today. We're going to be talking about fishing riprap in cold water. I love fishing riprap. You guys hear me talking about it all the time. And the thing about riprap, there's two things to remember. Number one is bass live on them 12 months out of the year. Every month of the year, 24/7, 365, they're on riprap. But the thing about riprap, it's just how you fish it. The technique, your approach, your angles are all different depending upon the time of the year. So I want to give you guys some tips and advice on how I like to fish riprap, specifically when the water temperature's in the 40s and 50s, sort of like it is right now up until like February or early March. So we're going to get into that in today's episode here. And also, guys, I'll be talking about all the baits that I'm talking about today. I'll have them linked in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video. If you guys would like to pick up a few using that link, it's a good way to help the channel. And also, guys, quick reminder, Solar Bat has got the January sale on my Signature Series glasses, my RB2s and RB3s, 40% off this month, man. I'll put my Solar Bat link in the description of the video if you guys would like to order a pair through that link, or you can also get them at Tackle Warehouse, so really appreciate that there. Okay, I probably, my two favorite times to fish riprap are in the cold water months, like when the water's in the 40s or 50s, or in the heat of the summer, one of the two. And each one of those has a different set of circumstances as far as how you fish it. But, I catch them on it all year long, but that's my two favorite years. The heat of the summer, especially towards the end of summer. But, February and March are really good months to fish riprap, especially for quality fish. Now, first of all, one of the things you'll find out about riprap fishing is generally riprap fishing is better in lakes that have a little bit of stain to the water. They're not real good, in my experience, on clear water lakes. So if you have water visibility of over about 4 feet on the lake that you're fishing, I have not done that good on riprap. My depth zone or the water clarity that I like to fish on riprap is at 1 to 3 foot of visibility. It seems like when you have 1 to 3 foot of visibility, it positions those fish in 10 foot of water or less that are catchable, and they're actively feeding and aggressive. And riprap offers great cover for fish. It's a great place for every aspect of the food chain. Crawdads, minnows, shad, perch, they all live there. There's just a lot of food for them. And most of the time it offers some type of an immediate access to deeper water. One of the things you'll find out about riprap is the best riprap is always the riprap that's closest to deep water. If you've got a creek channel or river channel close to a riprap bank, it's always going to be better. I just like this little bit steeper slopes to it. So anyway, there's 3 different ways that I like to fish them in cold water. When I do have those situations, when the water clarity is 1 to 3 feet, water temperature is 45 to 55 degrees. We're going to go over that in today's video. Okay, the first one, guys, is you can't beat a jerkbait. Megabass Vision 110 is probably my favorite for a jerkbait. I believe that Hank Cherry won his last Bassmaster Classic fishing riprap with a jerkbait on Lake Guntersville, but I've caught a ton of good fish on riprap on a jerkbait. So this is something that all 3 of these baits will work at the same time in these situations. But if I have water visibility about 2 to 3 feet and water temperatures, again, 40s or 50s, a jerkbait's one of my first choices. And I parallel the riprap bank with pretty much all these baits except one that I'm going to talk about. Just make long casts, try to target that 5 to 10 foot zone with the jerkbait, and just cover water with it. You don't necessarily have to have the typical jerkbait weather to do good on riprap. Usually jerkbaits are better on a little bit cloudy, windy days, and you can still catch them on that. But I've caught tons of fish on the jerkbait on bright, sunny days with no wind. Bass love a jerkbait in the cold water months on riprap. Okay, the next one is a finesse jig. It's my Blaukat Power Finesse throwback jig here. Again, guys, I'll have all this stuff linked in the description, but some type of, not necessarily a finesse jig, just some type of a smaller profile jig like this, really good for riprap fishing. I usually like some type of a brown and orange, brown and purple, brown and blue with a green pumpkin trailer. That's my favorite setup there. And this thing, I'm basically just casting this jig at like a 45-degree angle to the bank. I'm trying to, again, target sort of that 5 to 10 foot zone, just hopping it down the rocks. And the times that I go to a jig is if I know there's bass on the riprap. Let's say that I've caught a few on a jerkbait, or I've caught a few on a crankbait or whatever. A jig is a good way to mop them up and catch the better fish, especially if they're down a little bit deeper. Jig works on all the water clarities. It'll work anywhere between 1 to 3 foot. Just a really, really good bait for fishing around riprap, especially as it gets later into the spring. Like when that water temperature starts getting close to 60 degrees, I catch a lot of fish on a jig on riprap. And then finally, I'm talking just about 3 primary baits here. My last one is just the old wiggle wart. Wiggle wart is a excellent riprap bait in colder water. I don't use it much anytime the water temperature is over about 55. But if you have water temperatures in the low 50s especially, they'll eat up a wiggle wart on a riprap. Or, it just comes through the rock really good. It roots around in those rocks, when those fish are looking for crawdads. Mood and personality of the fish, they really like the action and the profile of wiggle wart. Same deal, make long parallel casts to the bank, try to target sort of that 4 to 8 foot zone with it, and just cover water with it. And that's the thing about riprap is there's some high percentage areas on riprap. Anytime you have like an irregular feature, like a little outcropping or a little indentation, or say for example, if you have a riprap underneath a bridge where the bridge, there's a point of riprap under the bridge, those are always high percentage areas. But the thing about riprap is they live on every inch of it. So if you catch some bass on a high percentage spot on a riprap, the real good looking spots, just slowly and methodically work the entire section of riprap. And another thing about riprap is it's good all day long, from the morning all day long in the evening. And when I'm on a riprap bite, it's all about just patience and just being persistent. It's like, if I've got a riprap that I know there's some fish on, I'll go up and down the thing all day long. I'll just go one end of it, start on the other end, come back and forth and back and forth. And those fish will move up out of that deeper water all day long. They're moving up and down and up and down. So there's always fish coming in there replenishing itself. But I have a love-hate relationship with riprap because I don't like fishing it because it gets fished a lot. It's a very obvious structure, probably the most obvious bass structure in any lake. Gets a ton of fishing pressure, but I love fishing it if I can figure out something that nobody else is doing on it, because the fish are there, and you can't take yourself away from good areas just because there's anglers there. But one piece of advice I'll give you on riprap, guys, is try to pay close attention on what everybody else is doing and just try to mix it up a little bit and do something different. But great way to catch good fish. I mean, there's a lot of big fish that live on riprap. A lot of lake records in lakes across the country have come off of riprap. So hope these 3 tips help you guys, and we'll check in later. See you.